Paul Ozzie with Active Senior Concepts, and I'm your current Georgia CCIM president. So welcome everybody to today's meeting on our tech and social media strategies. And obviously we have Michael Bull, who we all know and hear every week. And just a little side note, and Mike Overley, I've probably known Mike longer than I've known anybody else in this room. When I first got to Atlanta, I was an appraiser, and Mike's first gig was selling comps software. And so back in 1992, I've known Mike since then, and we've traded data and talked about comps and all that kind of stuff. So thanks for being here, Mike. I appreciate that. Just some general announcements. Our new Georgia CCIM website is live, and it is great. Thank you to our technology committee for doing that. It's a very nice upgrade. I know Jeff had a lot to do with that, so thank you, and our current tech committee. So thank you guys. Check it out. It's georgiaccim.com. It has all the upcoming events. It's got all different sorts of things that you want to know. Our upcoming classes, our 101 class is sold out. So if you were trying to do that, I am sorry, but we will have 2 more next year. That's at the board office next week in August 25th, or I guess in 2 weeks. Our 103 class, however, is not sold out. So if you need to do 103, you can do that at September 8th through 11th, also at the commercial board office. And for our last class this year, I believe, is 104, which will be September 29th through October 2nd. And you can do that just in time for the comp exam, which will be in October in Los Angeles. So please look at that. Another thing to put on your calendars, December 4th is our annual economic forecast luncheon. This year is going to be a little bit different. I'm bringing in a speaker. His name's John Doggett. He's a professor at University of Texas, and his specialty is international business and economics. I've heard him speak a couple times. He is a fantastic speaker. It will be a different program than we've had before. It's not going to be talking about drilling into GDP and unemployment rates and all that kind of stuff, which we can find that most anywhere now. He really talks about, his main thing that he talks about are the BRIC countries and how they relate to our economy. And one of the more interesting things that he talks about is how we tried and pulled to get China and Russia out of communism and into capitalism, and oh shoot, they listened. And now they're doing it, China in particular, in some cases better than we are. So he talks about that relationship and a lot of other really interesting things. He'll bring the port into play and how that affects us here in Georgia. So very interesting. Please sign up for that. You can do that on the website. Again, that's December 4th at Cherokee Town Club. Also like to thank our sponsors, our platinum sponsors, Marcus and Millichap, Ackerman and Company, the Simpson Company, and Kitchens Kelly Gaines. Our silver sponsors are here on the banner. So if you have a chance and you need to do any services, please look at them and use them for your services. I think that takes care of most of our announcements. Ann Martin will be our moderator today. She's with Regions. She's an appraiser. And an interesting fact that many of us might not have known, I didn't know until today, about Ann. She is the 4th woman in the Southeast that has an active motorcycle road race license, and her first professional race will be in 2 weeks. So hopefully this will not be Ann's last meeting with us. And I actually know one of the other 2 women that do that, Ann Roberts with my former company. She's also doing that. Those people are crazy. I don't know how you do that. I've seen the videos. 200 miles an hour on 2 wheels in a track is not for me. Anyway, well, without further ado, Ann, take it away. Thanks, guys.
That one? Okay. Okay. Yes, it does take a crazy mind to do what I do. But I know Ann Roberts is awesome. She's actually someone I really look up to. Anyways, as many of you know, I'm the co-director of the Programs Committee here in the Georgia CCIM chapter. And I'm very glad to have these two guys up here today. They're both experts in the topic, which is the tech update we're going to have today. A quick introduction, and they are going to take it away and give you all the necessary information, all the education you need that you have come here for. Michael Bull, he is the commercial real estate advisor and broker at Bull Realty. He is the executive producer and host of the nationally syndicated real estate show. He's an active writer whose articles have been published in several nationwide publications. And he has the Ask the Michael Bull series with over 6,000 Twitter followers. He's got over 3,000 connections on LinkedIn and over 41,000 views on YouTube. So he is definitely the expert to have up here in our presence to give us all the information. And also, if you have any questions at the end and you would like to ask and not ask in front of everyone, but kind of make it anonymous if you like, you can send him a question through text at that number up there if you want to write it down. Or you can also send him a tweet at Ask Michael Bull. And now we have Michael Overley. He is the regional director for Xceligent. He started Atlanta's first ever online source for commercial real estate sales data in '91, and then he enjoyed a successful stint as a Southeast regional director with Comps.com. And he's got extensive experience with real estate media and data companies and ventures. So he is also the perfect person to have up here right now to give you all the information that you've come here for. So without wasting any more time, let me go ahead and give it to Michael Bull.
Thank you, Ann. Good morning. Good morning. You know, it's interesting that I'm talking about tech and social media because I really believe in meeting people and building relationships and dialing the phone, right? And when I got into technology and started thinking about social media in particular, a lot of my brokers said, "Are you crazy? What are you thinking about?" And I think what's drawn me to it is, you know, when I first started in my career, I was always interested in what the best marketing people in our business were doing around the country, and I've always studied it. And I was thinking back before this morning about that past, and I remember a long time ago, I had my first bit of technology was a fax on demand system. Anybody remember that? You could call in and enter ID number and get a list of properties I had for sale, and then you could enter a number and get a fax on the property, and it was like, whoo, this is high tech, right? So it's fun too, and I've enjoyed learning about technology and reading about it and using it and interviewing people on my show, and it's just fun. And I think when you think about commercial real estate, it's kind of half, what we do is half advisory, and it's half marketing, especially in the brokerage part, right? So, well, today, if you do have some questions, you can text them to me. And the Ask Michael Bull on Twitter, that's interesting technology too. That is a daily FAQ video series that I do. And I do a very quick video related to commercial real estate questions. All types of questions from very advanced to basic questions. And you can see it at the YouTube channel, Commercial Real Estate Show. And if you have a question, especially if you can stump me, please send them to me. Hold on. See, I know technology really well. So, you know, so what I'll try to do today is share some things that I see in technology and social media that are working, just touch on a few of them. I'll also try to give you some takeaways that maybe you can use in your business right away. And then, like I said on the bottom, I don't have to exercise this morning, so thank you for that. One of the things that you're probably doing is web conferencing, right? And one of the things about web conferencing that we like about this particular system is that you can share your screen. And so you can have something on your screen and show it to folks, but also you can circle things and you can annotate and you can make notes. You can also give your screen to someone else there that you're presenting to or presenting with, and they can take over your screen. So you can also record it. So you could do you could have something on your screen that you're going over. Let's say you have a presentation on a property or a service, and you have it on your screen like you would be showing it someone. You could record that and then send that as a presentation on the fly. So there's a lot of things you can do with this particular WebEx that we really like. It also has a great mobile app. Another thing that we've done that we like is we've created a tech room, and this has some really large screens and a couple other medium screens where it's really set up for optimum video conferencing, where the camera and the mic and the viewing is all kind of set up perfectly and easily. It's also a great place to collaborate. So one of the things we were finding is a lot of times we'd work on a project and we're in front of a little screen at someone's desk, or we're in our conference room, which has a huge screen in a big room, and it really wasn't conducive. So we set up this as a little bar style table that is bar height, and you can sit around or stand around, and you can connect wirelessly or wired into any of these screens. And there's also a computer in the ceiling, so you can walk in there and wirelessly just start working on things and pulling things up. Video, I think technology has met social media in a lot of ways, right? And video is certainly a big one. And I think video is a lot bigger than it ever has been, because we all have faster internet, right? We also now have fast enough internet to watch videos on our mobile devices and our phones, right? And the one thing that's interesting about YouTube is that's the second most used search engine in the world. My son is amazing to me because he figures out anything very quickly, and I'll ask him how he does it, and he'll go online and just figure it out. And one of the places that he goes is to YouTube. He writes in the question and gets the answer. And not only is he reading about it, but he can see someone do it if he needs it. The other thing I think that's opened up video more for us in our business is that, with the advent of reality TV, there's a little more flexibility in the quality of the video. That's not to say you want to put out terrible video. I don't think you want to do that. But people are a little more open to seeing a video that you've done on your own that gives a view of a property or whatever it is you're doing. So I think it's a real way to go. Now, speaking of video, one of the things that we've done is we've picked up a drone. Here's a picture of it, and you've all read about them, I'm sure. And they're relatively inexpensive. They're relatively easy to fly, and make incredibly high quality video. And to give you some ideas about this one, of course, when you do the video, you can do a voiceover, you can do music, which really makes it dramatic. The FP view system is first person viewing. So that allows you, if you look on the bottom left, that little screen, you can see the screen on the controls of what the camera's seeing. The GPS is pretty cool. What the GPS on it does, if you get that option, is it allows the drone to come back to you if it goes out of range. So we tested it and turned off the controls, and all of a sudden the drone starts going way up in the air, and we thought, oh my God, it's gone. We tried to turn the controls back on, and we couldn't get it back. And it went way up in the air, and it came way over above us, and then came down right where we took off. And I guess it goes up really high in case there's buildings or things in the way, right? So it's pretty awesome. And I don't know about technology because this thing's flipping on me, right? The gimbal, you also, if you get this, you want to get the gimbal. What the gimbal does is makes the video very smooth, and it moves the camera. And so it really makes for a very nice video. And then there's a lot of editing software. We use Final Cut Pro X, and it's I don't use it myself. I have someone that does it, but he says it's the best, so I guess it's the best. Here's the next one. Now, one of the things that we've done with videos on properties is, you see these people that put a sign, hey, watch this video on the rider, and there's some weird instructions. Well, think about this. If you just put a YouTube logo and a QR code, everybody's going to know in 1 millisecond that there's a video on that property and where to find it and what that QR code does, right? And one thing that's interesting about that, too, let's say they never scan your video. They are going to look at that and go, geez, he knows how to market, right? I think, well, he's on technology. He's really giving me a good view of this property if I want to see it, right? Now, let's go to social media. I'm going to go through this stuff pretty quick, but on social media, one of the questions we get are time, and how do you have time to do it? And one of the things I would tell you is post articles you're reading anyway. I mean, you're reading articles that are interesting to your sector, your clients, what you're doing, so post those. Another thing is using Hootsuite. Does anybody here use Hootsuite? You know, and there you can set up all your posts in the morning and have them go out during the day. Another thing with Hootsuite that you can do is monitor social media and tweets. So there's systems out there where you can monitor keywords. So if you do office leasing in Atlanta, you can put in those keywords, and if somebody happens to mention that, then you can get a copy of that. You can see it. Phone apps are great. You know, I've got, you probably all have phone apps for LinkedIn, right, and Twitter and Facebook or whatever you use. You know, on my Twitter app on my phone, I can post to multiple accounts, and I can do it very, very quickly. And so use those. The other thing I've seen a lot of people do that do very well with social media and charts and slides is they take about 15 minutes a day, either twice or 3 times a day. So, you know, they're not on social media all day. Some of these guys I see, like Coy Davison, who does a great job out in Houston with Colliers, you know, he's not posting all day. You'd think he is, right? But he's using something like Hootsuite, or he's taking, you know, goes to lunch, or he goes to when he's reading the paper in the morning online. You know, he's doing it then. And then also retweeting is very fast, of course, and reposting something, and that also builds relationships. The next question, I like this timing because it's keeping me going, right? Sourcing content, that's always a big issue, right? What do you post? And here's some ideas. You know, like on Twitter, you can search for #CRE or #CRE, and you can find some great content there. It's very quick. You can find some content that you think is interesting. Another thing I just mentioned is retweeting. And then news aggregators are a great place to get real fast information. So you're probably using some of these news aggregators already for your information, but they're also a great way to find information to post. Of course, the CCIM Association and other associations have great content. So there's a lot of good content. And of course, the Commercial Real Estate Show has articles and videos and podcasts. And those are not the Bull Realty Show. If you haven't seen the show because you think it's the Michael Bull Show, it's not. It's the Commercial Real Estate Show. We had Sim Dowdy here with King on the show last week. We've had folks from Colliers and JLL and everybody on the show. Then we have some of the best analysts around the country on the show each week. Those are some real good sources for content. Then for some tips, what not to do. Don't constantly peddle your wares, right? You've heard that. If you're just talking about your product or your service all the time, people aren't going to listen. It'd be like being out here and talking about your product or service the whole time. We'd walk away from you, right? Don't use sources without interactions, mentions, and retweets. You know, social media can be pretty transparent, and people will notice if you're not giving credit for content. So if you're following Coy Davison and you're retweeting all his stuff, people will realize that at some point it'll discredit you. And don't talk business 100% of the time. You know, from the experts I've interviewed and the books I've read about it, they say put a little bit of yourself in there. You know, it is social media, right? And don't just put all real estate items, and this is probably one of the most important things I'd like to get across today with social media for everyone that isn't real familiar with it yet, is, you know, we're in real estate and we talk real estate and we love real estate. Well, maybe our clients are running businesses, or maybe they're in a certain sector and they're interested in things that are just not real estate. So don't just post constantly real estate, real estate, real estate. Think about what's interesting to your client. And that's the things that you want to post and be involved in. Also, you want to be in groups and things that are your clients. You know, that aren't just if you're a broker, other brokers, if you're appraiser, other appraisers. I mean, you want to be where your clients are. The other thing is, if you're intoxicated or pissed off, don't be posting. You'll be in Twitter jail, right? It's like writing a letter when you're mad or something. and you say, well, let me calm down and come back and read this before I send it, or an email, the same thing. All right, here's another big thing where technology is meeting real estate, and I think that's crowdfunding. And I think crowdfunding is going to be big. And because you think about it, well, first of all, everyone knows what crowdfunding is. Sponsors can advertise for accredited investors now because of the Jobs Act. It was, about a year ago that they could do that. So investors can go online and invest in high-quality, institutional quality properties just like that. Just like that, very quickly. Now, they have to be accredited investors. So accredited investors are, that their income is $200,000 if they're individuals, or net worth over $1 million, excluding their home. But you think about the people that you probably want in your deal. That's the people you probably want anyway. And there's no limit on the amount of the transaction. So crowdfunding, I think, is here, and it's going to be more powerful than some of us think. You think about it, because people are much more comfortable investing online in the stock market and doing everything online. I think real estate's next. They're going to be investing in real estate online. Sponsors, you may save a ton of time. But one thing I worry about on the time is, well, if you've got a bunch of people invested in your deal that don't know much about real estate, or you don't know much about them, what could come up later? I'm not sure. What it may mean is a lot of work for lawyers. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how big crowdfunding get. And I've interviewed some of these guys on the show, and the volume that they're doing is incredible. It's up to the investors to vet the sponsors themselves. So I think there's also room in there for advisors, like a lot of us, to help investors. Because if you're investing, $50,000 and that's not a lot of money to you, maybe you don't need to hire somebody to get an opinion on that sponsor and that deal. But maybe you're investing $50,000 and it is a lot of money, or you're investing $500,000 and it's a lot of money. Then you may want an advisor to come in and check out that sponsor and that deal. And that's kind of my quick take on tech meeting social media. And so I guess we'll leave questions to the end for both of us. So, Mike?
Michael? All right. One of, I guess, the first recommendations for Microsoft is to put a pause button on this slideshow software. All right. Again, thanks for your time today, and I'm glad to be here. Seeing a lot of good, friendly faces I've known for a while, and as Paul mentioned, been doing this for quite a long time here in Atlanta, going back to the late 80s and early 90s with commercial real estate information. And as he mentioned, started one of the first ever online services for commercial sales data back in '91. This is an old bulletin board system way long before internet was even around, and I've been doing that and been in this business for quite a long time, and have ran into many of y'all over the years. Again, my name is Mike Overley with Xceligent. Been with Xceligent about 3 years now, and helped launch the market here in Atlanta back in April 2012. Had a very successful run so far, and enjoyed getting out there and seeing everybody again with our system. And today what I want to talk about more than anything else is something that pertains directly to the CCIM group today, and that's the site to do business. And one of the things that's an exciting new feature here, let me go ahead and get this pulled up here if we can. Let's get this up here.
Good old technology.
Yeah, it is. How about that? Yeah. What'd you do, Kim? Back row there. Let's try this one more time. Let's talk about the beach. That's everybody's favorite topic. That's right. Up there at in Lake Lanier. Look familiar, right? So, but anyway, yeah, what I want to talk about today, and I think we got this here ready to go, but one of the big announcements we just had was the alliance we have with the CCIM. And this is going to be a great benefit to everybody because one of the things that we have done is struck a deal with the CCIM to take over the Sites to Do Business website. And what that's going to do is bring another level of technology to it, bringing a lot more enhancements to it. And I think it's going to be something that everybody in this room is going to really appreciate in terms of being able to have another level of information with something that's already part of your membership. Again, one of the announcements that was just done by the CCIM talking about that, the deal here, and again, it was announced back in May, actually took effect July 1st of this year. So one of the things that basically means is we're basically managing the Sites to Do Business site. We're going to be operating it. We're going to be enhancing it. We're also going to be incorporating the new Esri data that's got the business analyst online system, and that's going to be another level of demographics that you haven't currently had before. The great news is this is something that's going to be available to you starting this month. And if anybody's been on the site here, you're seeing the big red banner that's basically showing, you know, that this is coming soon. So probably within, I would say within a week or 2 weeks, you're going to be able to go in and access this information. The other part about it is that we're going to integrate the Sites to Do Business with our system, the commercial search and CDX system, which will also give another level of demographics within the CDX system, which many of y'all subscribe to currently. And again, like I mentioned, this is going to be launched this month. So, and I'm pretty sure they'll be sending out an email on that. So basically what we're doing is we're basically putting together a lot of key relationships together with obviously the CCM, the Sites to Do Business, Xceligent, Commercial Search, and the Esri Business Analyst Online. And basically what we're trying to do here is really integrate all of these type of features. I think what we've seen, and we talk about technology and commercial real estate, if you look at some of the industries, actually commercial real estate is probably lagging a little bit in terms of some of the technology that's been out there in the past. I mean, there's a lot of other industries that are a little bit further ahead. And even on the residential sector of real estate, you're seeing a lot of new apps and everything coming out. So commercial seems to always be dragging a little bit. And even though there's a lot out there and coming at you, it's very segmented. And so when you're going to different sources of technology, you're going to this source, you're going to this source, you're going to this source. Well, one of the next steps, I think, in the technology side of commercial real estate is integrating these sources. So you're going to one spot, you're overlapping, you're doing layers of data, and you're being able to take different elements from different areas and be able to bring them together. And I think this is one of the benefits of this relationship is really bringing these entities together. So we're able to overlap other data. And so if a company's got this type of format, another company's got another type of data, to bring them together and be able to layer them and being able to provide a higher level of information. So I think that's really the goal here of what we're trying to do with this is not only enhance the Site to Do Business, but then bring other enhancements from the industry together. So when you're looking at it, you're basically looking at one individual site for that information. So again, what we're looking at right now is basically what this means for you and as a group here in the CCIM is that this is part of your current membership. So there's no additional cost, there's nothing along those lines. This is something that's going to be an additional benefit for being a member of the CCIM and again, being able to include that technology from the new Esri data that's going to be incorporated in the Site to Do Business. So, and then also too, what's another nice feature about this, as we enhance and build and improve the Site to Do Business website, we've actually incorporated basically the CCIM group. We've got a panel of 10 people that have been selected that are going to be with us to be able to determine what are the best enhancements to make and what is the best way to manage the resources going forward. So it's going to be direct input from the membership group to determine what's going to be improved in it. So it's not just going to be, us going in there and taking off with it and then, not getting the input from the CCM members. So I think that's really key is that a lot of this direction and process moving forward is going to be directed by the member team itself as well. Part of this deal also, which is kind of nice, is you're going to be getting, all of you that are CCMs will be getting premium access to commercial search for free through December 31st, 2017. And real quickly, for those who are not quite familiar with commercial search is the competing product of LoopNet. And as our friends here, CoStar, know that our CDX system competes with the CoStar, and they've also got LoopNet. We've got commercial search, and I think what's kind of key about commercial search in this effect is that this is now the official site for the National Association of Realtors. So the busiest website for real estate in the world, Realtor.com, when you go in and do commercial search, you'll be basically going through our commercial search data. So again, even more important to make sure you keep your information and data uploaded in the CDX, because we are pushing that into commercial search, which is giving you another area of getting a great exposure for your listings. And again, you will be getting free membership in this deal all the way through the end of 2017. The other thing that we're going to be doing on the site to do business, and then also then transition it to the commercial search, is we're going to set up your own area for the CCIM's only area. And this is going to be an area exclusively for your group to be able to promote your listings to other CCIMs. And this is a feature that's going to be in the system that will remain and will always be free for the membership group. So I think that's a nice little feature that we're building in to the system. Again, that was kind of pushed by the panel that has decided that, hey, these are some of the things we'd like to see moving forward. The next thing we want to talk about here is this really going into the site. So now, you go to the site to do business. I think if y'all been in here recently, you've been seeing this banner that's basically talking about the new platform that's coming. And again, I believe that there's some of y'all may have already been logged in. I know there's some beta testing, but this will be live for you here in the next, I would say within the next week or two. So it's something that you'll be able to do. Again, you'll be able to use your login and password to simply get in to really start looking at some of the new data elements that you have access to. So again, what's nice about this is that you're going to be able to come in, get some quick tutorials, some videos to be able to see what some of the new features are. What's also nice is you'll also have your CCIM tech support staff that's still there, being able to answer those questions. As I was talking to Katie a little earlier, one of the things that they're going to be doing is from the CCIM tech group, they're going to be actually going on a road show probably in the next month or so to be able to do trainings and show everybody what's new and what's going on with the system. So, down the road, that might be something that you'll do in one of these classes here, one of the education seminars, to be able to get the full training benefit from the CCIM tech group. So what you'll do is just simply log in with your existing password and get into the system. And once you're in, you're going to see a new dashboard. And the new dashboard really allows you to do a lot of new stuff. So again, when you log in, it's going to be a little different. You'll have your breakdown of your maps and reports. You'll also be able to look and see what's new, and also the case studies that have been recent from the Esri. So a lot of new content that you'll have access to, again, just part of your membership. One of the really nice aspects, too, of this new data is the new tapestry data. I'm not sure how many folks have used some of the really detailed tapestry information, demographics, but this is really another level. It's not just about population. It's just not about, whether you're looking at incomes and that type of segment, but it's even digging in and drilling a little deeper to find out different types of industries and different types of populations and how that area is made up in terms of whether maybe even what they buy, what they purchase, what's the tendencies of their activities. And so, for instance, you're maybe working with a sporting goods store that you're looking for a location. Gives you the ability to now to be able to say, okay, I'm not just looking at the price and the location on the commercial real estate side, but I also want to find people that typically buy, mountain bikes, that buy camping equipment, and on down the line. So it gives you an idea to better analyze locations and areas based on not just an age or population, but also the type of person that lives in that area. So it's a very nice new feature there. The next thing you do is just go into your maps. One of the nice new features here, they got a new smart map, and I guess what's really the difference between the regular maps and now the smart maps is before, when you were doing your mapping on sites to do business, you could only use one variable. So when you did a map, you did age, or you did population. Now, you're going to be able to use up to 5 different variables, which is really key. So now you're layering data on top of data, and I think that's what really takes it another level for you, because now instead of just looking at one element, you're able to bring in 3 or 4 elements based on what you want to look at and be able to find that information pretty quickly. So again, you're able to go in, pull your different customized areas, what you want to do, have those different layers on top of layers. And I think that's where the intelligence of the data gets to another level, is when you're starting to layer. You got your base data, but then you're layering it on top with the different information that you want to look at. based on what your needs are. So the other thing it's actually able to do now too, which is also new, which wasn't available before in the sites to do business, is before when you did search that one variable, it was set. You know, it was 18 to 25-year-olds, 26 to 39. Now you'll be able to actually create your own breakdown. So if you say within that 18 to 25, I just want to look at 21, 22, and 23-year-olds, or however you want to break it down, different populations. So again, instead of being locked in to a certain segment, you will now be able to actually customize those variables, which is a pretty unique situation here, brand new technology. And again, part of what you'll be able to access on the sites to do business. The other part is now you'll be able to integrate the maps. And I think what's kind of key about the integration of the maps is before you were really using the maps that were already provided within the system and working with those maps. Now you'll be able to incorporate the Microsoft Office products. So a good example is importing an Excel spreadsheet. You've got your own lat and longs. You've got a list of properties. You've got a list of information that you want to import to the maps. Now you're able to take outside sources, import them into the maps, and create your own maps. And I think that's really going to be key now because, again, it gives you another level of customization, something new. I think what happens a lot of cases in this industry, everybody kind of uses the same maps, and everybody's used to saying, okay, there's that map. I've seen that one before. I've seen this one before. You're now customizing it. This is, you know, really another level of going to your client and being able to customize these maps, this data, based on exactly what you're trying to either show them or be able to present to them. And then again, I think the other part of it is sharing. So before you're saving things on your own system, now you are able to share and put that information out there through ArcGIS. And so now you're working with someone else. You want to take that map and share it with someone you're working with or with a client, or you even have the ability to publish it. If it's something that you feel, hey, this is a very beneficial map, you want to get it out there, get your name attached to it, you're able to actually have some really good maps that you can share with, again, the industry or people that you're working with, or however you want to do that. Again, I think that's really going to be kind of key, is being able to really look at some of the new features that are above and beyond what you've always been able to do with sites to do business. And again, I talked about the support team for sites to do business. One of the things everybody was asking us when we did this deal is like, hey, whatever you do, do not let these folks go. Now, I don't know them personally, but I guess they do a fantastic job with customer support. The good news is they're staying on board. They will be doing the support as well for the CCIM tech. Those are the folks you'll reach out to now, today, whenever you want to be able to get some more information. And they will also be doing some road shows in terms of being able to really give y'all some more detailed information, more training on each of these new products that they're launching. Just real quickly about commercial search, because one of the things you do have access to that. There'll be free premium membership for you through the end of 2017. We've come a long ways on commercial search. Again, when we first started, there's been very few companies that have been able to be successful over the years, bringing in tons of listing content. LoopNet's been really the premier one for all these years. This is the first site to really take a run at that number, because again, LoopNet's been out there. They've done a really great job of branding. People know it. But now there's a situation now where we wanted to make sure that we provided an alternative site that allows you to go in and be able to get your listing data out there to everybody. It's the same model as LoopNet. So as you know, there's two models. You either pay for subscription, get detailed content, information that's been researched, which we do, CoStar does very well in terms of that really in-depth data. And then there's also the marketing side, the marketing tool, LoopNet and commercial search. So again, you might as well, if you can get in there and search it, you want to be able to do that. And again, just to kind of show you where we're at currently, just in the last 8 months, we're up to 411,000 listings, over 60,000 user accounts now. Just in the last 30 days, we had 1.2 million property detail hits and 128,000 searches. So again, a lot of activity going on. And I think a lot of that obviously being locked into Realtor.com, which is the premier real estate site out there, is really one of the main factors of really pushing this information out there and seeing it. And if you haven't been out there before, you just go to commercialsearch.com to be able to sign up. Again, register, it's free. And then finally, too, just a couple other little tidbits here that we'll work on. There's going to be some new ways to be able to promote your listings on your website. You're going to see some new technology coming out on that as well pretty soon, which is pretty sharp. It'll be allow more on a mapping and an integrated basis for your listing website. Also, too, talking about new analytics. Obviously, a lot of new tools coming out with the analytics side, too, that you'll be able to get access to. And one thing also, too, to look at, this is another company, very excited about this company. Client Look is a CRM, and those who haven't gotten into some of the CRMs, you ought to take a look at Client Look. Client Look is a really powerful CRM tool that's now going to be integrated with different types of databases. So where you were doing CRM here, and you had your property listings over here, you had your contacts for the people on your listings in two different places, you can bring them together now. And this is something that'll be happening pretty soon. But in the meantime, too, if you haven't seen Client Look, very solid product, especially for the commercial real estate industry. Allows you to be able to work together on teams in terms of your, if you're a brokerage team and have 3 or 4 on in your team, you're able to share information. You can share it just between the 2 or 3 of y'all. You can share it with the whole company. Again, just another level of CRM that you probably haven't seen maybe in like a Salesforce or an ACT. And then also, too, just a little quick look here. I just wanted to throw some quick stats out there for you for second quarter. I know that was a technology, but just wanted to mention here, just to talk quickly, we are commercial real estate. Did see a nice little incline in the positive absorption for industrial this quarter. I know we all hoping to see this thing chug along a little quicker, a little faster pace. We're starting to see that in the industrial sector. Industrial is really starting to pick up. As we're showing here, over 4 million of positive, 4 million square foot of positive movement in Atlanta's second quarter, almost getting over 6 million for the year. And vacancy rates are continuing to drop. 12.1 in second quarter, which is, as you can see, down from 13.59 just a year ago, and 12.88 as of last quarter. And again, where we saw in here just in the last quarter too, probably the biggest gains we're seeing in I-85 corridor. Really everything from the Norcross all the way up to the Swanee, even the Barrow and Jackson. A lot of the bulk warehouse product up there is being moved into, so we're seeing a lot of movement there. Office, a little different. Unfortunately, we're not seeing quite the gains that we were seeing on the industrial side, but we are starting to see some movement forward, which is good. Almost 1 million square feet of positive movement in second quarter. First quarter was very flat. Starting to see a little bit more movement. I think last year we saw some good movement. I think a lot of that attributed to 2 or 3 major tenants. Obviously, everybody knows about State Farm in the area, and State Farm really kind of pumped up the numbers in Atlanta with about 1 million square feet of positive space being taken up last year in this particular market, the perimeter center market, so central perimeter. So again, we're still kind of moving along. We are moving forward. That's the good news. Not going backwards, but again, slowly. Really, where we're seeing the movement and where we're seeing the positive activity more often than not is the Class A space. Still dragging Class B, Class C, pretty flat right now, but Class A is where really it's propping up the office market. And you can see 19.2% vacancy for the office for second quarter, down from 20.4 a year ago and 9.8 just this first quarter. Again, Class A looking at 16.7. You're seeing some markets though, like Buckhead and Central Perimeter, getting down in the 12s and 13%, which is very, very good in terms of some of the more active markets that you work in. So again, I just knew it was tech time, but I always like to throw a little commercial real estate information in there at the end. So thank you very much.
We have any questions?
Long time ago, there was a discussion that you're going to merge the listings from LoopNet to CoStar to Xceligent to CCIM, like one would pull from the others. What happened to that idea? But right now, you post in then all of them are
Well, quite frankly, we're two separate companies. So first of all, Xceligent and CoStar are two different companies. So technically, I don't think we're going to be merging our data together anytime soon. But the good news is both us and CoStar give you the ability to put in your information for absolutely free and get free exposure. So no matter what you do, I highly recommend update, get your listings into Xceligent, update, get your listings into CoStar, because again, it benefits you to have them in both spots, because again, that is free marketing exposure. Now, the difference is between LoopNet and commercial search. LoopNet is tied in with CoStar. Now, I know that they can probably tell you more about how they maybe take listings from CoStar to LoopNet. I don't know if they do that at this point, but I know on our side what we're doing, which is really key for the industry, is that we're pushing all of the listings. So if you update with Xceligent on the CDX side and our researchers, every night we're pushing that data into commercial search automatically. So both commercial search and LoopNet are broker updated models. The brokers must update the system by themselves. I mean, they're the ones that go in, make the updates, make the changes. Whereas the model of ours and CoStar basically are, we're doing the research, we're updating the information, we're keeping it timely. So again, that's kind of the key aspect. So again, there is a couple of, you will have to update in two different sources, but again, it's very beneficial for you to do so, because you will get that free market exposure for your listings.
So what about CCIM? Because the CCIM, when you enter your listing in CCIM, at least you guys are merged now. So why don't you make a listing go from
Are you-
Xceligent into CCIM listing WebBridge?
Are you referring, is that the Catalyst? Is that what y'all are talking about? What?
WebBridge, you know?
Oh, Mailbridge?
WebBridge, yeah.
I,
Yeah, no, they're separate.
they're still,
What she's talking about is, there was I think it was CCIM RedX, which came out. The idea was you could enter your data there, and then it would send it anywhere you wanted to go, and maybe other people have context. I think that was it just didn't work.
Yeah, it
And so
didn't
they
work.
shut it down about a year ago.
But at least these two, now that you work with sites to distance and you have Xceligent, at least these two should work together. So when you put a listing in Mailbridge, it should be able to go to Xceligent or vice versa. Rather than making two listings, you make one listing and the other one pull it from the other.
I think as Jeff was saying is that system didn't work from the CCM side. Now, I don't know as much about that, so we have no control personally, us or CoStar, over what CCM does with the WebBridge, so we can't institute anything on that end. So again, what I strongly suggest, though, again, is making sure you're getting your listings. When you get the phone calls from us and getting the phone calls from CoStar, I know everybody loves those phone calls as well every 30 days. But it is, I mean, you know, we're both just trying to do it as easily and seamlessly as possible to get that information in there. It definitely behooves you to do so, because again, you're getting exposure for those listings. There are thousands of people using our system. There are thousands of people using CoStar. They're viewing it every day. I know it's a little bit of an extra activity every month to do so, but I strongly suggest that you take the time to do that, because again, it's marketing exposure that you need with your clients.
And RedX didn't work. I talked to Todd Coleman about that, and he said because the different sites want people to go to their sites to enter information. They don't want to give up the page views and the hits to aggregate like that. So it's just probably never going to happen.
Michael, you touched on the drones, which is relatively new, but what do you foresee without, getting anyone in hot water though? But the FAA recently has said, you can consider it a hobby, but you can't commercially use it for applications, especially in real estate. But obviously the value's there versus spending, time in a helicopter. What do you see? Do you see that emerging market happening for commercial drones specific to real estate? I mean, it's such a powerful tool. Any insight on that?
We know if the FAA says we can't use it, we won't use it. But I think until then, you want to use all the technology that you can. And so I think there'll be more uses of it. And I think there will be some folks who will do it for a living that you'll be able to hire to do it, although I haven't seen that yet. But I think more and more people will use it. And like I said earlier, technology, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to do and create a great video on a property. So I think it'll get used more, and hopefully it doesn't get shut down. And I think if people aren't idiots, if you're not flying near the airport or you're doing crazy stuff, we'll be able to use them.
The post your slides?
You want a copy of the slides?
Please.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're going to post them on CCIM?
We'll get them on georgiaccim.com.
They'll be there.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
Okay.
Post the presentation.
And I had a question from Kevin about, how should folks get started in social media if they haven't gotten a good start going and learn about it. And I would say one of the things is to watch other people and what they're doing, but also make sure you're not watching somebody that has a different audience. Like for the commercial real estate show, our audience is pretty broad in commercial real estate around the country. But if you do industrial real estate in Atlanta, that's not your audience. So you don't want to do what we're doing. You want to do what you should do for your audience. I also asked about a book, and I've read several books. One of my favorite books on Twitter is called The Twitter Book. And it's interesting. It's almost like a coffee table book. They show you what to do, and then they show you an example. And then you turn the pages, a thing to do and an example. So it's even I could read it. So it's good.
Any last questions? Okay, well, I guess that kind of wraps things up. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Our next program is going to be September 11th, and it's going to be on the topic of real estate and sports. So it'll be a great topic. So hopefully we'll see you then. Thank you.